Attention, little people, I have an announcement.
These commentaries were originally recorded from April to June of 2024. I love the show and people and the focus of the positive, but with all that said, here's what is more. The guests love the show and people too, but are allowed to speak their mind. The critiques they share and opinions they bear are only theirs, not mine.
Well, yeah.
Opinions are kinda like jellyfish. I mean, they're flown and change shape a lot. Not all opinions shared banter reflect our true and current thought. These have been re-edited to keep the commentary in sync. I only muted what I wanted to cut so the track can show a link. So if you hear some silence, you'll understand why, folks. And me and Kev apologize for our incessant inside jokes. Lastly, not all commentaries turned out as good as others. Some days it didn't flow as well, but we always recovered.
And if you're not watching the show along with our commentary, you might be confused as to what we're talking about, which is kind of a given. But if you're like a crazy super fan who knows every detail of every episode, have at it. With all of that out of the way,
Enjoy the show!
Welcome back to VeggieTales Fan-Commentaries. Different sort of episode here today. I'm Finn.
And I'm Mr. Lunch.
And we don't have Kev today. Kev was unavailable. I'll just give a brief, synopsis of why we had scheduled it a while ago. Lunch, you have to schedule out a room, right, to do these at your library?
Yeah. I'm in a library right now. So,
yeah,
I got the budget. I got the budget. Well, I didn't get the budget, but
yeah. So we had to get Lunch scheduled ahead of time so he could get the library, and so I confirmed with Kev, confirmed with Lunch, and then Kev called today. I called him, and he was like, "I can't do it now. Something came up," and I said, We still got to do it because Lunch is in the library. Normally, we would just bump it back to a different day, but this was an extraneous circumstance, as the kids say. 2025 edit here. Wanted to cut a bit of inaccurate information, about a 2-minute long mute to keep the show in track and sync. You know how it goes. In the meantime, enjoy Mr. Lunch's favorite song, which we didn't have last year.
What a sight. This is great. I've dreamt a long time for this date. What a view, what a place. I can look at you all face to face. What a scene, now I know. I was born for a live touring show. Though the music's obnoxious, the lyrics are gaudy, I see your expressions as you all applaud me. This is fantastic! Hi there! How are you? Where'd you come from? Oh, glad to see you! Thanks for coming! Oh, hi there, ma'am! Nice to see you! Enjoying the show? I knew you would!
What a scene! Watch him go!
Look at that!
He was born for a live touring show. His singing's superb, it will never upset us. Now watch how he dances with bacon and lettuce.
Oh my goodness! Oh, this is great! Look at those costumes!
now my history with this episode is interesting because I joined back in 2018 because my first exposure to VeggieTales was some YouTube upload of Dave and the Giant Pickle. I remember eating dinner. I was eating cereal or whatever, and it was a VHS rip from that VeggieTales VHS Classics channel. Ooh, this is interesting. I'm gonna go watch it. I got wrapped in. Then my second episode was Where's Gone I'm Scared, and then I got into the fandom. And then a year later, this dropped, and everyone is so surprised, oh my gosh, VeggieTales is coming back. VeggieTales is coming back. And this was by a different animation studio, by the way. This is by 88. No, is it? No.
This was by Prana, right?
Studio.
Prana.
Yeah, this is Prana. They did a bunch of Scoob, the Scoob movie, Smallfoot, the Warner Brothers, movie cartoons. But I don't know what happened, but they shut down after this, and then all of their animators had to migrate to 88 Pictures. So I don't know what happened there.
Strange, because I would venture to say the best Christmas gift looks better, or at least more consistent than the rest of the VeggieTales show. Maybe not by a whole lot. I mean, I don't think the VeggieTales show visually looks bad. It's just okay. I'll take I let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. If you pause the show, the frames look very nice. They just didn't
Yeah,
really know how to move the characters, you know? Um,
yeah. I
and the
mean, it's
eyelids
like
drive me crazy, but I do think this one looked a little bit better than the rest of it.
I mean, it's like in India animation, and that's not to diss India animation, but like they have a lot of stuff coming in because like they're the ones that do like the Disney cartoons that are
Yeah,
like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and stuff like that. It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
they were on a short budget. All these
I
episodes are
do love that.
produced.
I love that
Yeah,
opening of them kind of swaying with their back turned.
yeah.
But yeah, no, that is true. They have a lot coming in. And
Also,
honestly,
that's kind
what
of
confuses me though is like, Sweet Pea Beauty is a good example. The VeggieTales show is a good example. Some of the animation looks phenomenal, and then some of
yeah,
it looks really, really rough. And I don't understand why some of it looks so good and some of it looks so
yeah.
whack.
It's kind of interesting that they animated this, right? But then they never use it again
Yeah, I'm
with
guessing
a new
maybe they
opening. Their
kind
opening.
of. I feel like Best Christmas Gift was almost a bridge between like Beauty and the Beat and Noah's Ark and like God Wants Us to Make Peace. It was kind of like the transition episode, you know? It was kind of VeggieTales, kind of the VeggieTales show, not entirely either, if you know what
Yeah,
I mean. Like ultimately at the end of the day, it is the VeggieTales show, but it feels a little bit more like a traditional VeggieTales episode than the rest of the show does.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of unnecessary parts of this episode. Okay, another part is that the most embarrassing part about my experience of this is that when this came out, right, everyone was so excited because it leaked on iTunes like 4 days before it
Oh,
was supposed
really?
to. Yeah, it
I didn't
leaked
know
on
that.
like iTunes or something. It was able to buy, and there's this dude who recorded like this. It was like a camera version off his TV. And it was like a little Xbox on the corner, and so I had to watch that, and I was like, this is so good, even though I was watching it in crap quality. I guess the veggies.
I mean, if VeggieTales was just coming back, I think, I would watch it in that quality too.
Yeah, because like,
Actually, you know what? You said 4 days beforehand.
yeah, four
No,
days before it
I'd just
released.
wait. I'd just wait 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the worst thing that they ever done because they actually put up a new episode of The Power of Love. Do you remember that episode?
Yeah, that one came out like way early.
Yeah, that came out like a month early. Yep, it
So
took down
did
like 12 hours after.
the Forgiveness one came out too early too. The Wisdom one came out New Year's Eve 2020, and Forgiveness came out New Year's Day 2021.
Oh my gosh, wow. Yippee.
Also, I love the shot of Bob on the stage, the way his leaves kind of bounced and the lighting looked really nice. That's what I mean when parts
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
VeggieTales show look really good. That one shot of him going, "Welcome everyone to our VeggieTales Christmas
yeah.
show." Love how it looked.
'Cause- Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't really like how they like move their bottom eyelids. Cause it's like, cause you get some shots where it's like, it looks like his eyes are separated from the nose, which like it's kind of cursed.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I feel like there are too
yeah,
many like that
yeah,
too.
yeah,
It kind of became the default pose. If their eyes looked normal, the animators were actively making them look like that. And I feel like the default was just the really big lower eyelids.
yeah. Also,
Jellied
Archibald.
fish!
Also, I remember actually a few days ago, I listened to the All Around the World music video you made. I was like, dang, I wish they kind of retooled that song, to be honest, because this one's like, how to say it, less catchy. I don't
Yeah,
know how
a
to
little bit.
describe it. Yeah, because like at least like All Around the World was crazy, had like a bunch of characters in it and stuff, but it's just like Jimmy and Jerry. Because that's the only thing with the VeggieTales show is that the only character trait that they give Jimmy and Jerry is like, I love food, I love food, and it's just like
Basically.
it's just kind of
Also,
annoying.
I hate those caterpillars being in VeggieTales.
Yeah,
They
I actually
do
hate
not look
how.
right.
Yeah, why do they why do they look highly textured? Like why?
It's very disturbing to me. It looks
Like
like
yeah,
real caterpillars, not very cartoony.
yeah. It's kind of okay. It's kind of like you put Khalil and then you put the realistic caterpillars next to each other. It's like it's so off-putting.
I know. There was an
Yeah.
edit I saw of Archibald going, "Tasty fried up caterpillars," and they're zooming in on Khalil going, "Traveling
Yeah.
buddy."
No, not my traveling buddy.
I don't like that. I remember seeing the trailer and being kind of freaked out by that. Like, why are there, I don't know, grubs and VeggieTales? They're way too realistic. I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I do
Um,
wish they brought back the original sheep. These are cute, but I like the original one better because it's kind of, I don't know,
yeah,
feels.
it just feels kind of too. I mean, it has the veggie. Okay, it's not as bad as the pigs that they do later on with VeggieTales eyes.
Oh, those
Do you
look
remember
weird.
those?
I love the chicken. I love the chicken.
Also, that the crowd shots, man. The amount of time they use the crowd shots of them clapping, dude.
I feel like they could have made a, I don't know, more of a diverse crowd. You know, maybe even bring back some
Yeah,
characters or like background characters from the original show. You could have like
yeah,
Not Paul, Maul and Rosie and Tom and stuff out there. I don't know, Frank and Celery. Just have a whole crowd
yeah.
of characters that they're not going to use for anything else just to kind of show they exist, you know?
Yeah.
I think it would
Also,
have been kind of a neat Easter egg.
another thing about this episode, right? I think this was rushed. This was rushed for 2019 release. Because TBN was like, "Hey, we want to release it this Christmas, right?" And then they had to rush this for Christmas. And then it released and like everyone loved it because I think it was number one on iTunes for a while. I think this was according to like TBN.
Oh,
And
dang. I didn't know that. I love that
yeah.
light reflection on Bob.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is that that's where the quality kind of dips because they produce these episodes like really fast because the episodes, all of the VeggieTales episodes after this were made in 2020 during the pandemic, all like 25, 26 episodes
Oh, for
or
real?
like yeah, like 2020 to 2021 or something like that between that time frame. So they had
That
to
might be
like
right. Yeah, I think 2021 was also
yeah,
at least partially a production year.
yeah.
I think
So they
maybe
had to
early 2021.
Yeah, they have to. So that you notice like why that like it's kind of like rushed. You'll notice in places. So yeah,
I'm
that's
not
why it
sure
kind
why
of
they
looks
had
like
to.
this.
Why did they have to do monthly? Why couldn't they do like bi-monthly?
That is true. That
I
is
feel like
interesting.
bi-monthly means every other month, right? Not twice a month.
Yeah,
Every other, yeah. Why didn't they do that? I don't know. That would have been better. I would have rather waited and just had like another, batch of really high quality shows.
yeah.
Even
Bob
as it
feels
is,
kind of
I don't dislike the VeggieTales show. I do like it a lot. I just feel like it could have been even better had they given themselves more time,
yeah. I
Probably a
can't really
lot.
say on my stance on the VeggieTales show because the one episode is being good. I forget. It was like being good makes you. It was the cowboy one. That
Yeah,
one
yeah,
pissed
yeah.
me off because the ending was really stupid. Because it's like they have to restart the story to make it a happy ending. It's
Oh,
like
you're right. They
that
rewrote the Bible story,
yeah, and it's dumb. It's
which is a
dumb.
little odd to me. Also, the Ferdinand King of the Melons segment, if you remember that. Um,
I'm
at
trying to
the end of
remember
the
that.
show, Larry, he's just stealing all the bog melons, which is a fun concept. Bog melons, he lives in the bog. His castle's on the bog. He steals all the bog melons. Um, Another fun element, the bog melons were real bouncy, which was kind of cool. Felt very VeggieTales, and they would bounce them up to him, and
Yeah,
um, in the end, he basically, it's like King George. He wants all the bog melons. He steals everyone's bog melons. His castle sinks, and then right before the curtain closes, Larry comes up and goes, "Okay, I'm all right. I didn't really die. I was just acting." And the curtain closes. Show ends. Like, okay, yeah, we.
yeah. Oh yeah, there's no silly song in this. I forgot.
Oh
And
yeah,
no
no, there
one.
isn't.
Yeah,
There isn't.
there's no
Feels
silly
strange
song.
to bring it back without a silly song. I feel like a silly song would have been a nice. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
They had
Also, it feels
the
like
remixes on the DVD. When the DVD came out, it said runtime 50 minutes, and I was so excited. And then
that
I
was
was,
including all the bonus features. It's like
yeah,
really now?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that because no other DVD before that had a runtime longer than the episode length, but this time they were counting all the bonus stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, some brief technical difficulties, but I'll just make a little a little noise there, like a little beep, type of thing, and then, you know, splice it together. Mr. Lunt's teeth here.
Yeah.
Freak me out. Watch his mouth.
Uh, yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, he has teeth? Wait, where's his yellow teeth tooth?
He has two rows of teeth. No gold tooth. They got rid of that a long time ago because apparently it was
They did? Okay, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even
yeah,
notice that.
it was offensive. Apparently, I think the last episode he had it was like
It's
maybe shoot, maybe League or Little House. He lost it a few after that. He lost it like in the later half of the or the later few episodes of the classic show.
Yeah.
Because whenever they got rid of Mr. Nezer, they
Oh
told
yeah,
Phil.
another thing I remember.
What's that?
Yeah, the other thing I remember is that David Mann was voicing Mr. Nezer.
Oh yeah.
And then apparently then he got quote unquote too busy, and then Phil started playing Mr. Nezer again, which is like, what's the point?
I know, I don't get that.
Even the point of that change.
Yeah, why did they change it to
That's the
begin with
change.
if they were going to bring Phil back? What do you think of the new mouths?
The new mouths. I mean, they kind of move like how do I say this? In because there's something out for these mouths because they because VeggieTales mouths move like they just flap straight, right? They just flap straight with the occasional like left to right jaw movements. You know what I mean? But then they just kind of like do like maybe I'm just rambling on right now. I don't know. I don't know if I'm crazy or not. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying. The way their mouths would they would almost engulf their face, the way they moved before.
Yeah.
They just took up the space, and now the rest of their face moves with their mouth.
You think it would have been? You think they could have gotten Hoo back to animate these?
I wish they had. I really wish they had.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Hoo still exists, to be honest.
They shut them like 2019 or something. I remember it was something like that.
Maybe the VeggieTales show could have kept them alive.
Also, oh yeah, freaking yeah, that's crazy because Big Idea, right? As an animation studio, they shut down, but then DKP, not many people noticed, but DKP who did the 2008 to 2004 2008 episodes, right?
Yeah.
What happened is that there was during 2017 there's like a payroll glitch where no one was getting paid, and so they had to shut down their studio.
DKP?
Because no one was getting paid. Yeah, DKP.
Oh dang! Now I do think there was something called Stars Animation that did a few episodes.
Yeah, they kept on renaming their name because there was still DKP.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and then they were called IDT, and then they were called Stars for a while.
Oh, I thought that was a different studio. Okay, then DKP got really, really good. Because if you watch Snoodle's Tale and then watch Haas looks a lot better than Snoodle. So just in a few years, they got significantly better.
Yeah,
and very interesting.
Plus, that is so strange because that payroll glitch was 2017, and then they got absorbed into Jamfield Entertainment. Jamfield? They do a lot of the Loud House cartoons and stuff like that.
So, not really, no.
Yeah, that's where they are. Jamfield does a lot of the Nickelodeon cartoons, like the 2D ones, like Loud House and stuff. And
Yeah.
then who was shut down during COVID, like 2021. And so oh yeah, I forgot they animated Noah's Ark too.
They
They
did. Yeah,
animated
no,
Noah's
that
Ark.
one that
Yeah,
one was a little weird. That the
that
verdict
was
is still out on
that's
Noah's
strange.
Ark. Not sure about that one. I forgot to mention I love Mr. Lun's happy little hop whenever he sees the manger. Now, did
Oh yeah,
VeggieTales break their rule here? Are they depicting Christ as a vegetable, or is it okay
yeah.
because they're
They,
acting, but they're always
they did
acting,
that.
right?
They did that in the Star of Christmas though.
No, they just
Um,
showed a little bundle.
that, they did. Wait, I'm trying to remember if it was a P or it was not a
Nope,
P.
nope, just a bundle, like a
It was just a bundle.
little
Oh,
croissant looking
maybe,
bundle.
maybe, maybe it's a Mandela effect hitting me right now.
No,
Well,
I
as
don't think
long
it
as
was a
like,
P. I'm pretty sure this was the only one. But like VeggieTales was always acting, you know? So like if Larry had played
yeah,
God, it would
yeah,
have been a teleplay. He was acting. So I guess it's because it's more obvious that they're acting here.
yeah. I think I think it'd be more like um how they did it back in the Little Drummer Boy, or if they did it back in the day, where they'd have the shot of like the manger, right? But
Hmm.
you don't see the whole entire thing. You just see like the accurate the POV shot of the manger, you know. And I
Yeah,
think
like a glowing
if it
light.
was the old days, yeah, if it was the old days, they definitely would do that. But yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they kind of broke the rule in Sweet Pea, showing the Snoodle God, because in the first
Oh,
Snoodle's Tale you have the voice saying "I made you," and then in
oh,
Cinderella they
don't
reveal what
remind
he
me.
looks like, which makes me really
Not,
mad.
yeah, yeah. By the way, that commentary is hilarious because like SDS Storyteller, he's like at Proud Family right now, and he's like, this looks so bad. It's like,
It was
yeah,
fun to
that's
watch it
funny.
with them.
Yeah, I actually haven't listened to the Sweet Pea commentary, and I wonder if they like even mention like Mike Naroki's like, yeah, this was rushed out.
No, no, not at all, actually. They act like it looked perfectly fun.
Oh my gosh,
They were
really?
probably, I think Leslie was actually on part of the commentary. I'm pretty sure she was.
Oh yeah,
I
like
think she was in there like, I think it is important to show stories to girls where, you know, but like, I don't know. VeggieTales,
dude, all
even
these,
in Sweet Pea,
yeah,
like, they
all
weren't
those,
really showing a strong girl role model. They were really just showing that, beauty's on the
yeah.
inside.
I think the strongest girl model we'll ever see is actually Laura, because
Yeah,
even
Laura's
though
good. Laura's
yeah,
really good.
because
She's real
even though
spunky.
she's because even though she's like a kid, right? She's like she fits in because she isn't like defined by certain character trait that a girl has, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
would agree.
you
I
know,
would agree. Laura's probably the best of the girl characters as far as like,
yeah, yeah,
demonstrating a strong female character
yeah,
for kids to see.
and she can be silly. She can be silly while still being in character.
She
And it's
can,
like what
and
you said in that league
Madam can
commentary.
too.
Yeah, and it's like what you said in that league's commentary, where I forgot what you said in the league. Was it the league commentary? No, it was. I think it was. Oh yeah, it was Pirates. It's that Petunia is always like, whenever she's silly, she's talking about girl stuff. You know, like, oh
Shopping
my
and
god,
yeah.
about shopping and hairpins, and it's like that's not how you write a girl character.
Yeah, and then
Um,
Madam I know you probably don't like this episode, but one episode that a lot of people really hate that I really like is Popstar. Um
yeah,
Laura and Madam are at their best in that episode.
I,
They really
I
are.
I think I think that episode's kind of worse, to be honest, because it's like it kind of plays in more into the girl trope. You know what I mean?
I
Because
mean, parts of it do, but I don't know. Laura acts a lot like Laura. She's real, I don't want to say silly. She's able to be, I don't know.
I mean, is it?
She felt a lot
Right.
like how she did in Rack Shack and Benny, where she was able to have emotion and really,
Yeah.
I guess Laura's always kind of like that though. But Madam
Is
was
it?
real fun too. I don't know, I like it. I watched it recently with Blazed Sonic, and it was
Oh yeah.
better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I like that
Should have lost my.
song.
I lost my train of thought there. And once again.
I would rewatch Popstar again. If you haven't seen it in a while. I feel like it's one people kind of lump in as a bad one, but I think it's pretty good.
I thought it was pretty meh. I didn't really care for it, because it's like, wait, yeah, I know what I was gonna say. Is the other carrot character considered Laura or a different, or it's two
That
Lauras in the
that
same
I don't
place?
know. She wasn't credited as Laura in the credit, but
I guess it's a different character
Tim
than in the
Hodge replied to
VeggieTales
somebody
universe.
as if it was, because somebody was like, so Laura was, double on the screen in Popstar. How does that work? And Tim Hodge was like, well, it's a Trading Places story, so she was able to play both characters. So Tim
Oh
Hodge
yeah.
seems to think that she's both characters, but the credits don't credit Vanna as Laura. The credits
I
have
mean,
Vanna as a different character and Laura as
yeah.
Poppy Seed.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because there's a reason why they're not in the, like, their scenes are completely different to each other. That's why they're two completely different, like, rooms, not rooms, but like places. So,
Well,
so you
plus
can have a Laura act there.
Wicker
Yeah,
is Mr. Lunt.
Mr. Lund.
In the
Yeah,
credits, he's credited as Mr. Lunt, and you got Wicker and Rattan in the same place. I guess if they, are as technologically advanced as they claim to be within universe, then they're able to, do some computer
oh
editing
yeah.
in their teleplays.
Here's a song that I was talking about filler. This song did not need to exist. It's kind of there to fill.
Yeah,
It's
it
kind
kind of feels like a silly song.
Yeah, it's not really a silly song. It's just kind of like, if it was intruding in the middle and it was like, if Mike Naraki like shook it up a bit, then yeah, I'd be fine with that. But it's like it's just kind of there at the end. And it's like, do we really need this?
They really wanted Goliath to be a big character in the VeggieTales show. Ha,
Oh
pun
yeah,
intended,
they
pun
promoted.
intended, big character. But like in the first,
Yeah,
this is technically the first episode, but if you count God Wants Me to Forgive Them, or God Wants Us to
God
Make
wants us to make peace.
yeah, God Wants Us to Make Peace.
Garbage name, by the way. Garbage name. I've always didn't like that name.
I didn't mind that as much because it kind of felt like a reference to the first two, but when they kept doing that, I was kind of like, oh, wait.
Yeah, yeah.
If they had done one like that, to me, it kind of felt like a callback to the first two episodes. But then after
Yeah.
that, when they kept making very Christian corporate titles, I was kind of like, oh.
Yeah. I think it's the same. I think VeggieTales show is like the same. Like, I wouldn't say modern SpongeBob because that feels very like critical, like very like freaking what is his name, Mr. Enter type vibes. Which I don't. I was like, I don't want to be that guy. Like rags on modern SpongeBob, but it kind of feels like, they're relying too much on like old characters to make them like nostalgia blinded.
No, they definitely
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Because like,
definitely
let's
do that.
see, you got Scallion 1 and 2 and 3 back, which is like fine. That's fine. But then you got Miss Agnetha, you got Goliath. And it's
See,
like,
I don't mind them bringing the characters back, but they weren't really written to be needed. They
Yeah.
were just kind of there. They
Yeah.
weren't written, as necessary parts. I liked seeing
Yeah.
Goliath back. I just don't like that they acted like he was a big part of the crew. Because, like, in the first, or in, the Peace episode, Bob's like, Larry says, we have the whole crew together. And Bob's like,
Yeah.
almost the whole crew. And then they have to go find Goliath. And I'm like, they act like Goliath was like, he thinks he's one of them, like one of the main cast.
yeah,
Which was always odd to me,
yeah. That's what.
Like, they can't do
Well,
a
that-
show without Goliath. Like, he was always a big part of it or something.
Wait, was there what have we learned here or no? No, I don't think so, right?
Instrumental in the background, but not like, an actual number.
Oh yeah, recomposed by Kurt Heineke. So
I do appreciate the lesson. Somebody, I think it might have been Kev. It could have been Kev. Somebody said that the VeggieTales show is kind of like the What's in the Bible version of VeggieTales, where they're not really focused as much on like story and more focused on like teaching a lesson with like a few silly segments and jokes throughout type of thing.
yeah,
Because
I
they do
honestly
have like
felt
silly
the same
segments,
way.
not really silly stories.
I honestly felt the same way when I was watching Huckleberry Larry, because like that sense of like what's in the Bible wacky humor is very much there. Like random stuff happens in that episode, And it's like kind of it feels a lot like what's in the Bible, you know. Like
No,
what's in
I
the
was
Bible
saying, I was saying the
yeah, what's in
VeggieTales
the
show was kind of the What's in the Bible version of VeggieTales, where they focus more
yeah
on the Bible story and less on like telling a
yeah.
original story.
You know what I kind of don't like too is that Phil Vischer, he was like, um, I want to make all the Bible stories like interconnected with each other, and and having them in the literal world is like, it was something like that. Maybe I misworded it, but it was something like that. But it's like the fun of a VeggieTales episode, right, is to put them in like a separate little world, where it's not with the others, right? And if you make it a big story, it's going to be the same thing because it's set in biblical times, and it's like,
How deep does the Bible ice block go or iceberg go?
I know. How far does it go?
I think Phil had a great vision for the VeggieTales show. One thing that gets on my
Yeah,
nerves is people are like, the VeggieTales show would have been perfect had corporate not meddled with it. Phil Vischer told me that he's happy with how the VeggieTales show turned out for the most part. Um,
yeah.
it is pretty close to what he wanted. So if you don't like the VeggieTales show, you don't not like it because, you know, corporate messed it up. You don't like it because you just don't like Phil's
Yeah,
writing, probably.
yeah. Because like Phil has changed over the years. His writing style changed. I'll
It
tell you.
has, and
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily for the worse or the better, because it all has,
yeah.
it just depends on what you're interested in. But like for a classic VeggieTales fan, these do feel pretty different.
Oh wow, why? Wow. Dang, it's just that's the end of the episode. You guys have to talk about the credits now.
I love the one loud bye bye in the audience.
And now there's Mr. Lunt's act.
I like
You know,
Lunt having the
that's kind
tiny
of
little
crazy.
goggles on.
It's kind of crazy. You didn't see Mr. Lunt's and Mr. Nezra's dynamic in any
Yeah,
of the Veggie
I don't think
episodes.
you did it all actually, which is kind of a letdown.
Yeah. See, look at all these names. Look at all these David Mann and Mr. Nezra. Yeah, that's not gonna last long, man.
Isn't it crazy though to see? I don't know. Despite you know the VeggieTales show being little different. The fact that we
Yeah,
had episodes coming out every month that were VeggieTales, that had the whole crew, or at least a good portion of the original crew working on them. Phil was
yeah,
happy with them, Mike was happy with them. This came out 2019. 2 years
yeah,
later, they were recasted. Isn't that crazy?
yeah. Oh, I thought it was the new logo. Also, I didn't even know Adam Frick worked on this. He was in Classic Veggies, um, 1997 to 2003, as like the sound designer. He was in the Studio Jonah Studio Tour, Big
I
Idea
didn't
Studio
even
Tour.
I didn't even pay
Yeah,
attention to that.
yeah. I saw Adam
Interesting.
Frick like, oh, Adam Frick, know that
Dang.
guy.
That's freaking
And
crazy.
Universal. Dang.
Okay, thank you, Lunch. That was fun.
Yeah.
Let us know below your thoughts on the VeggieTales show as a series.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was kind of like the bridge between VeggieTales and the VeggieTales show, and I do like it for that. I don't rank it pretty. I don't rank it very high on my list of VeggieTales Christmas specials,
Yeah.
but I do like it.
I think it's very average episode. The episode what is it called? The episode I thought it was really good was like the Little Things That Matter. That one
Oh
was
yeah,
really good.
I do
Yeah,
like that one a lot. Yeah, with the
yeah.
singing plants and stuff. Yeah,
And also the one that's like the lifetime supply of joy. I believe that the name is called.
that was good too.